All right, today we're going to dive into a world that's governed by, well, invisible laws and unspoken demands. A world where one person secretly writes all the rules and the other person is just expected to follow them without ever even seeing the rule book. Let's pull back that curtain. You know that feeling where you're in a situation, maybe with a partner, a boss, even a family member, and you constantly feel like you're breaking a rule you didn't even know existed? The goalposts are always shifting, and you're always one step behind, just trying to guess the right thing to do. Well, let me tell you, that feeling, it is not just in your head. And see, that's the thing. And the dynamic with a narcissist, it's not just a set of expectations. It's a rigid, unspoken code of conduct. A code that's designed for one person's total benefit and the other person's total compliance. You're not just a participant, you're basically a player in a game where the rules were rigged against you from the very start. Okay, so let's try and break down this whole secret rule book, starting with the very foundation of it all, the absolute non-negotiable mandate for control. And this isn't just about making the big decisions, it's about owning every single aspect of the dynamic, leaving zero room for anyone else's independence. So what are your first duties according to this rule book? Well, first off, your time. Yeah, that's not yours anymore. You're expected to be available 24/7, almost, as one source puts it, as if you were an infant who cannot be left alone. Your needs, your schedule, totally irrelevant. Next, you have to maintain secrecy, hiding what's really going on from the outside world. And then there's commitment. It's a one-way street. You have to be all in, while they offer you absolutely nothing in return. And this crazy imbalance, it absolutely spills over into information. So your duty is to be a total open book, completely transparent about everything. But them, oh no, it's their right to be a closed one, vague, mysterious. If you dare ask for clarity, you get accused of bombarding them with questions. This one-way street of information is a super powerful tool to keep you completely off balance and keep them in control. When you get right down to it, it all boils down to this one single, non-negotiable principle. The narcissist cannot and will not give up control, ever. And it doesn't matter how small or insignificant the issue is. I mean, from huge life decisions to what you're doing on a Tuesday night, all power must be in their hands. Any attempt you make to claim even a tiny piece of it for yourself is seen as a major threat. So you'd think total control would be enough, right? Nope. The next section of the rulebook demands something more. It demands worship. It's not enough for you to just comply. You also have to be their number one fan, their devoted and grateful audience of one. I mean, just stop and think about the psychology behind this statement for a second. You are actually expected to show gratitude for being allowed into a confusing, manipulative situation. The relationship itself, this maze, is framed as some kind of gift that you should feel lucky to have. And then comes the justification, the big excuse. This isn't just any maze. It's supposedly a better one. The narcissist positions themselves as this generous ruler, offering a kind of suffering that is somehow way better than what you'd find anywhere else. It's this completely twisted logic that's designed to make you feel grateful for your own entrapment. This right here, this is the core belief system they need you to buy into. They have to be seen as the source of all that is good. And you, well, you're the source of all that is bad. And why is that? It's simple, really. This moral imbalance justifies their control and your submission. It creates a dynamic where you always feel like you're in their debt. You're always flawed, while they get to remain perfect and powerful no matter what's actually happening. This next rule is all about controlling your emotional responses. Any tiny act of decency, any moment of peace, isn't a given. It's treated like some kind of generous breadcrumb they've tossed your way. And for that, you're expected to perform with excessive praise and gratitude. It just reinforces their belief that they are the generous provider and you are the lowly, dependent one. I mean, this just lays it all out, doesn't it? The contrast is so stark. You give everything, you get back crumbs. You offer 100% commitment, you get zero. You provide endless praise, you don't even get a thank you. This isn't a partnership. It's a one-way extraction of everything you have. And, you know, the source material actually puts a number to this, which is just wild. You are expected to give 3 to 4 times, or maybe even more, than you take. And you absolutely do not have the right to flip that equation. Any tiny little thing they give you is framed as this massive gift, while the huge amounts they take from you barely even acknowledged. Okay, so when you're faced with this completely impossible, totally one-sided rulebook, what do you even do? It can feel pretty hopeless, but there is a path forward. It starts not by trying to fight by the rules, but by finally seeing the maze for what it is. And that brings us to the first and honestly the most critical step, awareness. It's that aha moment, that light bulb that just flicks on in your head. It's the realization that you're not in a relationship with communication problems, you're in a rigged game. And understanding that the rules were literally designed for you to lose, that is the very first step in taking back your power. So once you have that awareness, it really does lead to a pretty clear two-step path forward. First, you have to acknowledge the reality of the situation. Call it what it is. And second, you have to understand that the most effective tactic is often just avoidance. Look, you can't win a rigged game by playing harder. The only way to win is to stop playing altogether. And that really brings us to the final big thought here. Once you see the secret rulebook, once you finally get that the game is rigged, you're left with a really powerful choice. You can't change their rules, but you can decide whether or not you're going to keep playing. So what happens when you finally put the game piece down and just walk away from the board? Now that's the question worth exploring.